If you own an F Type, you're probably familiar with the risk these cars run of gravel rash or stone chips on these rear haunches. And what happens is, as the front wheels are going along the roads, they're kicking up all the debris on the road, and you run the risk of getting road rash, gravel rash, whatever you want to call it, here. And it's quite common on a lot of wide-hipped cars. Now, out of the factory, Jaguar have tried to remedy this with a bit of PPF, and that comes as standard out of the factory, but it does leave quite a lot of that area exposed. So, what can we do about that? These are wheel arch spats off of the rear wheels of a Jaguar, sorry, the rear arches of a Jaguar XKR. Now, with a slight bit of trimming, these do fit the F Type. So let's give this a go and see how much more protection it provides. So I've offered this up to the car. We need to trim these tabs off of here, and it does come with a few little clips. It comes with these spiky guys, and they grip on to the, let's see if we can, there we go, with those little barbs they grip on to the spat and the arch, and there's also a little bit of 3M tape to help it. So we're going to whip these tabs off, cut those off, offer it up to the wheel arch and see how well it fits. And I say it every time, guys, if you're not already, please do like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Hit that button down below and stay tuned. My garage is a complete mess at the moment. We're halfway through knocking out chimney breasts and doing all sorts, so you're just going to have to bear with me whilst I use the first flat surface that becomes available, and we're just going to whip off these tabs. Dead easy, it's only thin plastic. So you've got to remember, these are for an XKR, not an F Type, so we don't have the lugs that these little tabs locate into, so we're getting rid of those. Just neaten that up, there we go. Now let's go over to the car and see how our newly modified spat offers up. So let's offer this up. And you can see what we're going for there, really. So it's probably a little long. So what I'm going to do, I'll probably take the excess off the bottom. That's going to be less obvious. You're not going to be looking at it right up the top here. And you get quite a nice line on the body there, actually. Now, these are handed on the XKR. I have got no idea at all which side should go on which for the F Type, but they are handed. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to grab the other one, just offer that up and see if there's any significant difference. And if there's not, we'll go ahead and get this on. Now, I've just whipped the tabs off the other one. Let's offer that up here. I would say the other one is the better fit, because as you can see, it curls out down the bottom here, and the tape ends up on the bottom with the other side, so that's going to help with that staying on there. So I'm going to go back with the first one I had, and we'll get that on there, clip it on. I'm going to give this a clean, just so that there's no contaminants under there scratching the paint. Let's get it on. And what a good job I did that, otherwise that'd all be under that bit of plastic rubbing itself into the paint. So let's let that dry for a second, and then I'll get the spat on. What I am going to do as well, actually, is I'm going to move the wheel over so that I've got a bit more room to be working here. I'm not going to jack the car and take the wheel off, but if I can angle it a bit more, it's going to give me a lot more room to get around here. So let's move that wheel over, and then I'll get in there. So I've got a lot more space to work in there now. I can get up there nicely. So let's get that on and see how much of a difference it makes. So just offer this up once more. That's looking pretty good on there. And then I just need to trim off a tiny bit off the bottom. So I'm going to get it in place, and I'm going to do that with it on the car. I've got my little bag of clips. I'm going to start at the top and just get this aligned with where I want it, with this swage line or body line here. That's one clip on. That's 2 clips on. Three of them. Let's get this tape off of here before we get too carried away. That's really sticky actually, that's good. That's 3M tape I believe. Let's not let that blow away in all this wind. Two more clips to go. Nice. That's certainly not going anywhere. And you know what? I don't think that even needs trimming down the bottom there. Now I think that's a really good fit. It doesn't look at all out of place. It complements the body lines. And it's subtle. It's not like a huge mud flap. And if anything, it actually complements the factory standard one at the back. When you look at it up front there, it just blends in beautifully. I think that's a really neat little retrofit from a slightly different car within the same family. Let's point those wheels the other way and do the other side. So again, I'm just going to clean the inside of that arch lip. So rinse and repeat, same as the other side. I'm going to start at the top, try to get the camera a bit closer this time so you can clearly see what I'm doing. Let's get my clips out, put the bag in my pocket so that doesn't blow away. And we're going to start at the top, get the top lined up and then work our way down and round. There we go, top one on. I'm shocked at how well these fit. I was expecting this to be a wee bit of an uphill battle. Sticky off. Considering they're not designed for this car, I was really expecting, you know, to have to really modify, trim bits. It might look a little bit out of place by the time it's on there, but no, it's just gone on seamlessly. That tape does its thing. Let's get the last clips on over that tape as well. And there we have it. That quite literally took all of about 3 minutes aside to put those on, and that was including cleaning and waiting for that white spirit to dry off. So a really, really easy modification there. Does it give full protection? Well, no, I don't think it gives full protection. It could come out a bit further down here, but then you're probably going to ruin some body lines and it would probably look a little bit daft, and as I say, a little bit Max Power-esque. Nothing wrong with that, not my cup of tea, but probably just look a bit daft if it was a bit big coming out there. So probably the only way you can really protect yourself from this is by fitting a larger piece of PPF to this haunch here to really give yourself the protection. Now, obviously the best way to do it would be have full PPF all around the car, but that can be very spenny. So just a bigger piece here could be the way to go, but some cars suffer from it worse than others, especially if you're running spacers on your wheels. Your track grip's going to be a bit wider and you're going to run the risk of kicking up more stuff. But for what cost me £100 for 2 XKR Spats, and I got those from Adamesh. I'll put a link down below. That's a website for tuning parts for Jaguars. I was expecting them to be aftermarket reproduction parts, but as we saw when we looked at the packet, these are actually genuine Jaguar Land Rover parts. So I'll pop the part numbers down in the description as well. So hopefully that will go some way to reducing the amount of stone chips, but if nothing else, I think it's a quite nice aesthetic, continuing that line there and matching it to the one that comes out the factory on the rear wheel arch. But anyway, thanks for tuning in to yet another video, guys. I hope this was useful for anyone who is thinking of doing the same on their car, give you the confidence to dive in without having to spend the money wondering if it will or won't work. That's what I'm here for. But anyway, if you haven't already, hit that sub button, have a great time, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.